CPA and market analyst. Some people, including himself, call him America's accountant. His name is Dan Geltrude. He joins us now to give you all the tax do's and don'ts. Let's start with this extension thing. Dan, how the heck can I get an extension this late in the game? Look at your calendar. It's April 15th.
Well, it's pretty easy, Todd. I mean, you just literally file what's called Form 4868. You can download the form from irs.gov, but there's a little bit more to it. First, you need to analyze your tax information. Why? Because you have to estimate your tax liability. Then you need to choose how you're going to file this extension. You can file it traditionally with paper or electronic. But remember, if you're filing with paper, you need to prove it was filed timely. So if you're going to mail that in, you want to make sure you do it with registered mail. So you have that receipt to prove it out. And then finally, and most importantly, the extension is for time only, not your taxes. So taxes are due today, but you get a 6-month extension to actually file your return.
So just to be clear, you have to make the payment, albeit estimated today. You don't get an extension on paying the federal government. You do get an extension on the paperwork.
That's exactly right. But you know what? Filing that extension is important, Todd, because if you don't file, you could face failure to file penalties.
Not good.
Okay, so what are some of the other tips you have for us for this year and also next year?
Well, let's talk about next year, right? Because we're right at the end of where we need to be for right now. So what you want to do is adjust your withholding. Nobody likes to have surprises when it comes to filing your return. Well, wait a minute. I thought I was getting a refund. Now I owe. You also want to track those taxable deductions. Really important for bringing down taxable income. You want to make sure you have organized records. Keep track of those major life events. Not that you could forget that you got married this year, right? But that does impact your tax status. The other thing, too, is harvesting losses. So if you have some investments out there where you had losses, you want to be able to offset that against your gains. Remember, investing is about what you keep, not necessarily about what you make. So you want to do the smart tax planning and offset losses and gains to get a lower net taxable income. And finally, consult a tax professional if you really want to get that personal strategy on how to handle your taxes.
To be clear, depends how the marriage is going. You may want to forget.
Yeah.
I mean, it's unclear.
But still, when it comes to taxes, it's set in stone. Okay, so also, Dan, just in time for tax day, Senator Joni Ernst, she just proposed a bill called the Audit the IRS Act, and it would require the IRS to ensure that all IRS workers are fully caught up on paying their own taxes. And this is because there was a watchdog report that found that current and former workers owed $46 million worth of taxes, and that about 5% of IRS employees and contractors weren't fully caught up and paying their own personal tax obligations. I don't know if you call this irony or audacity, but I have a feeling you think that this bill is probably a good idea.
It is a good idea. I mean, the optics of this are really terrible when you think there are 4,800 former or current IRS employees as well as IRS contractors that owe $46 million of taxes. I mean, come on. You're enforcing laws here for people to pay their taxes, and then you don't do it. So there's 3 provisions here to pay attention to. Number 1, it mandates annual audits. Number 2, it will terminate anyone that is seriously delinquent with their taxes. And number 3, you don't get hired if you have outstanding taxes. So I think this bill is a positive, and I can't really see anybody being against this.
Dan Geltrude, Nutley's own and America's accountant. Dan, thanks for being with us on your day, April 15th. It is your Christmas. Now let's go to Lawrence Jones having